Probably the most valuable things that have happened to me are when I was fired from my corporate job and had to start basically a business on my own. So forcing the question of not having a regular salary, not having benefits, not having anything to rely on but myself, and then at the same time having to support a family. That was one gift. Wasn't very happy about it at the time, but it was definitely a gift in disguise. The second was my former business partner, who decided to when the business was not making enough money, to walk off and try to take all the clients. He wasn't successful taking all the clients, but he was successful ruining all the relationships that we had with our clients. So I was left with the debt and no clients. So having been put in that situation where you have, and the expectation, I think his expectation, everyone else's expectation was that was it was over. That opened up the opportunity to essentially rethink the business, rethink how I was going to pull it out from essentially a disaster situation and make it into something that it never would have been had that disaster not occurred. So and I remember the day that happened, thinking, well, how on earth am I going to make it through this? I think it took a couple days to say, well, there's no turning back. You either make it or you don't. And then, okay, what are the steps that I need to take in order to survive? And then what are the steps that I need to take in order to succeed? And then what are the steps that I need to take in order to prosper? Having, by that situation, been forced to focus very carefully on those decisions that needed to be made, and then doing it. The consequence of that is that I'm doing, for the first time over the past number of years since that, I'm doing the work that I want to be doing. I'm doing the work that is closest to my heart. I'm doing the work that's most rewarding. I have the ability to not take on work that does not fit with my value system. I have created the absolute trust of my employees, and I have sort of brought them in as collaborators. They have seen, and these are people that saw me when this disaster happened, and when I was painted as being a failure and being evil. But the truth of the matter sort of came out in the process that happened after that. That's not very specific, but apparent failure focuses the mind, I guess is the lesson there. The story never ends until you die. So you've got to keep at it, and you've got to keep writing it, and the more adversity you face, the greater your own authorship. When there is no adversity, other people write the script, other people create the story. When everything is against you, you must become the author of your own story. You must create your own future. There's tremendous power in that. creative act of rebuilding from nothing. If I think about many of the people that did great things, be it George Washington, who was a financial failure, my distant relative, Buckminster Fuller, who was a financial failure, that utter financial, personal disaster builds the kind of resilience and forces the kind of creative energy that you need to do something great. You must be this sort of complacency, the satisfaction with the way things are, with having other people sort of decide things for you or provide for you. When all that is stripped away and all you're left with is yourself, your own energy, your own creative effort, that's when great things are born and begin to happen. So, fear drives mediocrity. Fear creates mediocrity. Fear of failure. This is what keeps people down, because it can be used by employers, by authority figures. You're afraid to change things. You're afraid that it's not going to work. You're afraid that there's no way out of this situation. That's the power over you by those who have control over your life. So it seems, maybe it's not, but it seems almost essential that the worst things that you could possibly imagine happening have to happen in order for that to be stripped away, because, well, how much worse could it get? That's a great place to be. That's like the perfect starting point. So I attribute what I am now and what I expect to become in business and in life to those disastrous situations that happened to me. I remember in high school when I was doing an application for something, I was asked, what do you tell me about your biggest failure? At the time, I guess I was 16 or something. I didn't have a good answer for that question. I think everyone needs to have an answer to that question, because it's the greatest indication of your character and your ability and your potential to know what you did when you failed and when the whole world basically collapsed around you. So that's sort of like the negative version of my story, but I think that's a key aspect of it.